Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hack and Hustle. I'm Anthony Johnson.
And I'm Brad Rager. And today we're going to be talking about AI. Yes, those two letters you may not have heard about. Maybe we'll be the first to talk about it. But there is so much going on right now on innovation in the sales and marketing side. Agents are kind of the big topic coming out of RSA. I think we're going to see a lot this year on the agent front. But we wanted to kind of take this in the context of sales and marketing in security and talk about some of the use cases we're seeing people actually apply. And, I think by the time, this airs and you see it, the world may be different than as we sit here and talk about it now. I mean, it's changing so fast, but it's worth stepping back and saying, okay, this tech, what can it really do? How do you bolt it into a business? And what are some cool things that people are doing? And hopefully for our listeners, this may spark an idea or two, but it's just something we wanted to riff on today. So I'm excited to talk about it with you, AJ.
Yeah, I'm pumped as well. And AI is funny because what I've been saying, it's like people said the same thing about blockchain, right? I'm like, AI is not hot sauce. You can't just put it on anything you want, right? And so some people are like, hey, it's AI, it's this and that. But it is something that will dramatically impact the world. I think that we are overestimating what it's going to do in 3 to 5 years, and we are dramatically underestimating what it's going to do in 10 to 20, right? And what's the kind of like the epoch or like where we're at now, it's almost like cloud for me, right? Like if you think about like 12 years ago, 15 years ago, people were like, oh yeah, I'm going to do some stuff in the cloud. I'm going to do this, right? And everyone was kind of like hybrid, on-prem, doing a little bit of cloud. And then you started to see cloud first, cloud native companies come up, and they didn't have the same restrictions. Yep. They were able to Ricky Bobby go fast, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very, very similar with AI, right? People are, like you said, trying to bolt on, but when you're going to be a native, it's going to be wild.
Well, I think it's fascinating, and I don't know that we have seen a perfect. In fact, I do know we have not seen a perfect analogy for what's coming in our lives. But I do think about. I'm old enough to remember the .com era, right? And there was this hype cycle around it at the beginning that was like, oh, this is going to change everything. And then you realize no, Pets.com or Webvan or whatever wasn't actually going to revolutionize the industry. But then you had this other wave happen where it really did happen. And it didn't happen right at the moment everybody thought it was going to happen. But you had these companies in kind of that second wave who really figured it out and totally changed the technology landscape.
It did. I think probably the closest thing I would pair it to is the actual adoption of mobile phones.
Yes.
Right. Because before everyone was like, why do I need to be always available? I just I don't need somebody calling me when I'm driving and this and that. Right. And then it became like, okay, that's actually kind of nice. Oh, I can message them. Oh, I can do the internet. I can work from here. Right. And nobody was thinking that, or very few people were really thinking that. And I think AI is going to be the same thing of like, why do I need something else to go do that for me? I could do it. Then it's like, oh, but it can do it like 1,000 times faster. Like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Right.
Yeah. And what's wild to me is that we're entering this era where I think the pattern has always been the stuff that gets automated, the stuff that turns from a human into technology is the lowest value stuff, right? It's the mindless stuff. It's the labor, it's the grunt work. And that's not this. This is creative. This is strategic. This is
dude, that's a huge point. Yeah, huge point, right? Some people think that AI, and it's almost like they think it stands for like automated like impact or something. And I'm like, no, like we've had automation, like, and there's lots of ways that we can automate things and do that. And that's great. AI can be creative. It can look at things and see things. It can look at something and have the different vantage points of all these other pieces and add automation on top.
Yeah.
But it's this context. Now, what I'm really, really excited about, and this is where I think tying it back to marketing teams and sales teams, right, is when you start to use RAG, so retrieval augmented generation, right? And there you're saying, hey, I've got a data set. This is all my marketing material. This is everything it's here.
Yep.
And this AI agent knows that way better than I'm going to be able to remember that, oh yeah, we actually have something for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got something for that too. Yep. So it could have, you as a seller, you could have every one of your use cases in RAG.
Yep.
And you could then ask and say, hey, I'm talking to Bob over here. Which use cases should I highlight if he said this, or this was the call? And it's like, oh, blah, 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 blah.
Right. No, 100%. Where you've got to customize your pitch for a particular company, a particular audience, right? And highlight and come up with discovery questions or whatever it may be. We're already at the point where AI does that better than I think vast majority of humans do.
Yeah. And I think that what you're going to see is that sellers and marketing teams that one either refuse to or don't actually figure out how to get on this boat, they're just going to get left at the dock, right? Yeah. And you're going to see large organizations that plan on just systematically cutting out big portions of their, because they're going to use AI to handle that. Customer success. I know a large company that is currently using, I won't say which model, to learn on all of their inbound thousands of call center calls. And you're like, okay, well, it's just going to get smarter. It's like, well, listen, if it knows every call center call you've ever had and how to handle every situation, and it can dynamically respond, like this isn't press 9 for this, press 4 for this. Why do you need people to manage a call center then?
Yep.
Right. Like
yep.
You got one thing that does that, right? It is going to be super, super fascinating. The impact, I think.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And, it's like, I think about, the latest, the past 5 years of Alexa, when you have to sort of repeat the same thing 15 times in a row, it's a little bit like what dialing into a customer service call.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And you're like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. But then you open up OpenAI's voice application and can have a complete and total wide ranging conversation on anything in the world with a person who sounds like a human and knows a lot more than you or I do. And it's absolutely great.
I actually use AI. Not a lot of people know. So I have an AI agent trained on my email and everything, every talk I've ever done and all the compliance frameworks that I know, right? Or that I probably still know somewhere, right? And so like...
You're still a practitioner.
Yeah, well, so, right. But like I can click a button and it will respond to an email with all the context and my voice. Like it reads like I write, like even with the I put a comma in the wrong place. It puts a comma in the wrong place for me, right? Like, because that's the cadence of how I write. And it's funny. I was joking the other day. I'm like, maybe I should add in like a bunch of like my Star Wars references that, just random movie trivia. Because like that's part of my character of who I am, my persona. But I bet it would pick that up and put that in there too, right? Like Yoda says, right? Like,
wise you are.
Yeah, right. And it's absolutely crazy. So, okay, so we know AI is going to be a big thing. Every business is saying, "Oh, we're doing something with AI." I don't know any company that says they're not doing something with AI, right? I think you almost kind of have to say
you have to. I was a consultant for long enough and I've been around enough big companies. I am personally skeptical at the speed and, kind of change management ability of large organizations to incorporate this. I think there's going to be so many points of institutional change resistance that I do think it's going to confer a huge amount of opportunity to truly AI native,
and here's what I think, because I think you're right. In the general history of the world, you have incumbents who are like, hey, we've got like 14,000 people. They're not going to hire 14,000 people. they can't scale to do that, right?
Yeah.
But in an AI centric organization, they don't need to.
Right.
And that moat gets blown up where I don't have to have 500 people being able to answer a call center. I have an agent that can answer as if I had 15,000 agents answering call centers, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, like, this is going to be the distinction of AI native organizations are going to be able to go so fast. And I think the question is, can the incumbents then catch up?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
and that's tough.
I think it will be. I think it will be. One business that I know is going to be a good business for the next 10 years is going to be helping companies integrate AI into their operations. Like, that is about as bulletproof of a business as you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
I think in sales and marketing, I mean, one of the things that honestly scares me a bit about AI is it reduces the marginal cost of content creation down to zero. And we've seen that we saw that play out with email, right? What happened when email? We figured out phishing and we figured out spam, and we've had years of fighting phishing and fighting spam that have followed on that. And I wonder if you think about we just talked about the ease of content generation and personalization and adaption. The ease of AI SDRs, right? They can go and do those outreach and cadences, and you don't need to pay somebody to do that. I worry about a world where the volume cycles continue to ramp and continue to ramp and continue to ramp.
Yeah, I think it only gets noisier. I think it gets way noisier. I think you're going to have you are going to have reps and people who just they're going to use AI for automation, right? Purely, and they're like, I needed to send out 30,000 emails every day, right? And you're like, okay, now if everybody does that, right? Like, you're going to get the government being like, you know what? We really should tax emails like they were talking about before. Do you remember that? Like, that was just wild. Like, that's one way to try to kill spam. But I think that you're also going to see so much more marketing content that it's just going to be like everywhere. It almost reminds me of like those futuristic movies where like they're walking down the street and everywhere they turn, like there's no side of a building. It's like digital ads and screens everywhere, right? Like, and I think we're gonna get to that. So I think it's going to be important to figure out how do you use AI to have an impact.
Yes.
Right. And it's going to be wild though. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, it can it obviously ups the quantity game, but it can also up the quality game. And so you hope that people will lean into the quality pieces first. I mean, personalization, right? Like one of the biggest problems is all we talk about all the time is you're a small tech company, a small cybersecurity company. You don't have a ton of relationships to leverage off of. You got to figure out how to spark new relationships, which means, a lot of people will run an SDR and outbound motion, right? And that's all about getting a conversation going. There's a version of that world where you get to the number that you want by increasing the quantity and knowing that your hit rate's going to be low. There's another version of that world where what used to be 2 to 3 hours of account-based research all of a sudden becomes very quick, and you can start to personalize and make things work.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the premise of what Delve Risk is built on, right? And so I do think that there is a bit of a moat that we have. So we're actually looking at AI to combination of RAG, all the market research that we're doing, and so we can help customers fully customize that their outbound, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's going well.
Yeah.
But the issue, I think, is that you have data originators, creators that are creating guardrails to prevent AI from learning on them.
Yeah.
Right. So somebody creates some news media article and they've made it so that an AI system can't scrape it, or a scraping system can't do that. And so as AI tries to go out and get smarter and collect, you're going to have a lot of data that's just unavailable, which is why we use people as well. Right. I think it's a combination. Because if you just have some like bunk bad data and you're just doing that at scale, you're just going to blow yourself up, and people aren't going to take your call, take you seriously, take your email, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, it really creates a world where the value drives to the people with data and unique data, right?
It does.
That becomes the differentiator in term, especially from a sales and marketing standpoint, right?
Yeah,
Because
it
what's
does.
on LinkedIn, that's kind of getting commoditized, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And so you have to find new ways to get things, and and it's not just the scraping, it's the staying on top of it, right?
Right.
Which is again, I'm optimistic about the future of Delve Risk and what we're doing, right?
You're in a good lane. You're in a good
Yeah,
lane.
we are. It's fun, right? But I mean, we are absolutely looking at. I mean, like if you look at like Notebook LM,
Right.
right? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and if people haven't played with it, like get out of here. Like you have to play with it. Like it's absolutely crazy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, read this contract. Tell me what questions I should ask. Okay.
Maybe in a month we just need to feed it a little data in a couple Hack and Hustle episodes, and it can record our podcast for us.
It might be able to, right? Like, I mean, like we actually took one of our snapshot, our dossier reports, fed it to Notebook LM, and it turned it into a 15-minute podcast.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And it's two people talking. Like it's two people talking about the report, and they're like, "Oh, I love Delve Risk," and this is. I'm like, "What is this? This is crazy," right?
So what other tech have you seen that's kind of interesting in this area that's worth folks maybe giving a look at? Any specific ideas come to mind?
No, I mean, I think that so like if you were at RSA, anyone was at RSA recently, I mean, it was everybody's AI this, AI that, right? And what was kind of crazy is I saw some companies are like, "Oh, we're AI native," and I'm like, "How are you? You've been around for like 5 years, like, and suddenly you're AI native." Like
we've been using machine learning, in our
right.
algorithm.
Exactly. It's like it's like when you go buy food and you're like, it's free range. Like, okay, what does that mean, right? Like, well, they have an extra foot of space, so that's like free technically, right? Like, okay, that's not like chickens roaming acres and then free range kind of thing, right? So I think the definition of it is still being understood by people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we actually see some truly impactful use cases, they're going to pop up. Everything right now is I think leaning towards how do I automate more? How do I use AI to do this? Right? Even the security tools out there, they're like, use AI and then it'll do this, and I'm like, that's automation. Where's the AI part? Right? Like oh, but it's like automation. I'm like, no, it's artificial intelligence, man. Like there's a play here. I think we're going to see customer success, large organizations, call centers. I think you're going to start to see that in a pretty prolific way.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to have to figure out how to catch up. One of the most important things I think people can do if they're in sales or marketing or just anything is start to learn prompt engineering. If you can learn how to write prompts and prompt the system appropriately, you are going to be light years ahead of anybody else. I think if this is a little bit different because it's just us chatting today, right? But I would say that would be my takeaway to tell people, like, learn prompt engineering. How about you? What's the wrap up that comes to mind for you?
And you can have these tools teach you prompt engineering, right? And suggest good prompts, right? Which is its own little hack. I mean, I think there's a lot happening with things like lead scoring, content generation, customization. I don't know. It's not clear to me how much of these use case specific tools are actually better than using the paid version of Claude or ChatGPT at this point, depending on what the use case is, right? Like I think there's applications out there that create marketing copy that's tailored for a LinkedIn post or a blog or whatever. And I haven't used it enough to say with any confidence whether it's better. I can tell you I get great content out of Claude because I know how to prompt it and I know how to feed it the context, right? So I think every sales team should be pushing their internal technology operations to be able to get these tools at their disposal. And I don't think that tool is Microsoft Copilot. If I'm honest, I just haven't seen great results out of my own uses of that particular tool. But I think where we're really going to start to see magic is when we can take these engines and combine it with unique data sources and valuable data sources that actually get to things like intent, right? So there's good intent data out there, website visits and other things like that can give you a strong indication. But I also think it's a little bit like, in my recruiting days, there's a lot of AI tools out there that say, we will go find you candidates. We will engage with those candidates. We'll talk to those candidates. If you just give us a job description and we'll go find the right people, right? But it's using probably a shitty job description and a BS resume, and it's trying to match those two together. And the old tech just looked at keywords. The new tech is better at it, but there's still so much data that you don't get on a human from a resume, right? And I think you could apply that into a lot of, lead scoring type things where if you had real data on the tech stack of a company, if you knew the people that were coming in and out and you could correlate what they've bought before, where they've been, I think there's a lot of data unlocks we're going to see that when you start to put these AI models on top of it, you're going to start to get really incredible results.
I think so. I think the one piece I would say though is when it comes to intent, because there are some interesting things out there on the intent vendors, right?
Yeah.
And they've raised a lot of money and they're doing things. Correlation is not causation.
Yes.
And that's a hard line to be like, well, okay, that's correlated. Okay, but is that why? No. Yes. Are you going to go dump all your money because it's correlated? Maybe, I don't know, right? Because it's tough, right? And so I think that we are going to have to see certain things where AI has to prove itself. People like, oh yeah, actually that worked. I feel really good about that. It's not causation, but it's like damn close, right? Like it's like okay, like that. I think that's a thing. All right, Brad, this was great. I always enjoy chatting with you. Any final pieces that you want to leave people with?
I think the thing is, you just have to do it. You have to engage. You cannot be afraid of it. Throw yourself into it. Read, study, learn. And it is truly an area where I think there will be a separation between those who know how to 10x their productivity with AI and those who don't. And the world that we're entering is going to separate on that pretty quickly.
Yeah, 100%. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
All right, that was great. All right, everyone. Hope this was helpful. That's a wrap for today, but we'll see you back here in a few weeks for more Hack and Hustle.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.